For me, there wasn't really a self. I just lived life as a blank because I didn't know where I came from, who my parents were, who my family was. I didn't really care what happened to me at that point because I had nothing to look forward to. The actual main reason why I wanted to find my family that I never really told anybody was because I wanted to, like find out who I was, why I was here or there at the time. I don't really know how to say it, but without my family, I didn't really feel like I existed. I didn't want to exist. Until I found them, I wanted to be just alone, nobody. And it was hard for me to grow up not knowing them.
Bronson and Samson lived with their mother until Bronson was 2 years old. And then after that, they lived with their father for another year. And that was the last time they saw their mother. Between the ages of 4 and 7, Bronson and Samson lived with the Crowells. Marianne Crowell was a family friend with the father, Will. And it was like a Hanai relationship that they had with the boys. At age 6, their mother died. And when Bronson was 8, both boys were moved to live with their maternal relatives in Texas. A year later, when Bronson was 9, he and Samson were separated, and Samson lived with yet another relative on the mother's side. And when Bronson was 11, he was returned to Hawaii and moved into another foster home, not the Crowells, a different foster family. And this foster placement continued, but all told, Bronson has been in 10 foster homes. He didn't know where anyone was at all, none of his relatives.
When you first enter foster care, it kind of seems like your family rejects you. They don't want you. Most kids believe that. I used to believe that. About 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, I asked Patrick Spencer, my social worker, if it was possible for him to get my brother's phone number because I really wanted to talk to him. And he did, which was pretty cool because, at that point, I was eager to talk to my brother again. And I called him. He said that he missed me and that he loved me. And at that point, I realized that I wanted to meet the rest of my family. So I started asking Patrick if he could find some of them, any of them.
We got a list of possible relatives, and there was one person with a phone number. And we knew it was related to his father. This person was related to the father. And actually, the social worker was with me, and he made the initial call and just introduced himself and asked if this man knew Bronson, and that Bronson was a youth in foster care, and the man said, yes, I'm his uncle.
I found out when I was still a young man that my mom had passed away. So the only parent that I thought was still alive was my dad. So I wanted to find him above anybody else to find out what happened between him and my mom. And after that, I wanted to find, you know, like my closest relatives, uncles, aunts, cousins, if I had any more brothers or sisters.
Bronson's family is, on the father's side, is very large, and several of them have stepped forward to show their support by having Samson come out to stay and having a large family reunion for them. And Bronson was invited to his cousin's wedding, where he met even more relatives, and one of the cousins came to his graduation. In terms of finding the father, I had heard from the uncle that the father was probably in prison, didn't know which prison, mainland or Hawaii, and I called OCCC and he wasn't there, and then I called Halawa and they said he was there.
I just first saw my dad earlier this year. I went to a family court with my brother when he came down to visit me. I went with my newly found relatives, and we all went to go see my dad in court. And we had a really enjoyable moment where I just felt protected, even though he was still in chains. You know, like I had found my dad. I felt really happy and really sad at the same time. And then when we parted, I broke down and I just started crying. I didn't want him to go, and then when they had to take him away, I turned to my brother and I held on to him because I didn't want him to leave either. I am at Halawa Correctional Facility to see my dad, to show him my diploma, graduation, to say hi and tell him that I love him. Hey, Dad. Graduation paper.
Oh yeah? I don't know, but what about your graduation party and stuff like that? You set up something?
I had like 6 graduation parties I went to. Dad, you don't have to get me anything.
Why?
As long as you're okay, that's good enough.
Get you started or something. What if you set yourself up for do something?
Have a goal, have a purpose. Yeah.
At least go drive to doing something, you know?
I don't know, I was thinking of going to college, but then I wanted like a steady, good amount of money coming in. So I'm probably gonna join the military.
You're eligible for funding for college, children foster home, right? Remember that tip I was telling you about? Kalani Alilo means the great heavenly chief.
That's a pretty powerful.
Yeah, thinking that he would be hot-headed one and more, you know, warrior type. There's plenty of things within me that I like share with them, but there's plenty of things out there that, you know, I'm pretty good in, you know, cultural wise, you know, skillful wise, you know, pretty talented, but I don't want to stop them from their goals.
I met my dad and I found out that he's a good guy, and you know, I felt that I actually did know him because I turned out a little bit like him. But for my mom, I didn't even know what she looked like because she was already gone. I couldn't ask her anything. I couldn't bond with her. So the closest thing that I could do was to at least know what she looked like and maybe ask a couple people what kind of person my mom was.
This is something we're still trying to obtain. I have had leads, and I have spoken to people who say they do have access to the pictures, but I've not, I haven't received them yet, so that's something we're still working on. And just the other day, I called the mother's high school. They said that a relative had to ask for the picture, so Kalani or Bronson just wrote a letter and asked if he could have a copy of his mom's picture. So that's something we're working on to send to the high school. Mm-hmm.
I think it's important for Kalani to understand and to know that he has a family. And I think so many times what happens in institutions like foster care and prisons is that you are disenfranchised from your family. Not on purpose, but you just are. When Kalani was about 3 or 4, I used to babysit them together at my parents' house, and I was about 12 or 13 or 14. And what I remember most about them is that they were inseparable, and they were mischievous together. And I remember one time taking them to Kahala Mall, and we went to watch the movies, and we caught the bus down because my house was right along the bus route to get to Kahala Mall. And I remember chasing them around the mall for a good hour, and they were playing hide and go seek with me. And that's probably my fondest memory of that time. By learning more about his family and who his family is, Kalani will learn more about himself and become a better man and a stronger man. And he will be able to carry on those family values that he doesn't even know exist at this point. So that's why I think it's so important for him to continue to make these connections with his families and to hold those close to his heart.
I remember the first day I was in foster care, actually. I was really scared at first because I didn't know what had happened to my parents. And I was holding onto my brother's arm. And then we got into a car and we got dropped off at a home in Waimanalo that belongs to my dad's friend.
My daughter happened to know the father of the children, and she was glad because the children were on the beach and there were several people from Waimanalo. They couldn't live with anybody and they needed somebody to take care of the children. Then they came and stayed with us. And then we took them in. It's like our own, my own mo'opunas, because they were so loving and you just couldn't help it at that age, yeah. So they stayed with us for about 5 or 6 years. They were with us.
Wow, my hair is ridiculous.
It's nice.
My hair
Yes.
is ridiculous.
No, it's not.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Put it in. Remember all your paintings, all your drawings? What is that?
My drawings.
At Blanche Pope, 1996. He was at something there. I don't know what was it. Wait, there you
Boom.
go.
Look at that. It's amazing.
Give him some.
I don't even know how I won these. What is this for?
Everything.
What is this for?
We went down to the
Computer
judge,
expert,
at the
perfect
family court.
attendance.
We were going to adopt the children. And then we went to the family court. We found out we couldn't. And we felt so bad we couldn't do anything. But it was the state that did that. Yeah, it was a big loss to our family, Yeah, we really loved them, and especially that's the worst age when they come from small, growing up.
First day I went to work, my boss, her name is Nina, she asked me, "Oh, is your last name Ka'aihui?" And I was like, "Yes." She said, "Really? Because I'm related to them."
My boss told me, he goes, "Oh, we're having a new utility coming in for training." So I grabbed the file and I looked at it and I was like, oh my God, it's Ka'aihui. Because my mom's side of the family is related to the Ka'aihui family. So I thought I have to meet this boy.
Graduation, I graduated, it was awesome. They called my name. I was nervous though, I didn't really want to walk in front of all those people. I just wanted to stay there, just having my diploma while I do this and I'll be happy, I found out that my boss was actually my aunt, so that was a weird coincidence, but it was also pretty cool.
We have a professional relationship and we have our own little personal relationship. It's not really strong, not as of yet, but he comes to me when he has a problem. So for me, I feel like I made some type of connection with him.
I feel really good about where we're at in terms of finding people who are feeling like they want to commit to him.
My son and my husband were talking to Bronson, "Hey, you want to come home? You're welcome to come home, but You're going to be living under our rules, you know. We get rules here, so I was like, yeah, no problem, no problem.
I do talk with him on a personal level, you know, so, you know, and a lot of it has to do with foster care. You know, how he doesn't feel at home and the rules, he doesn't like rules. So I told him, you know, like all kids, no one likes rules, but rules is going to be there all your life. You know, there's choices we all have to make. You know, there's two paths, the wrong path and the right path.
The healing now will take overnight, you know. There's a lot had been happening, you know, from the time they was born to today. You know, so 10 minutes, 15 minutes ain't gonna do nothing, yeah. I mean, I can ease a little pain, but when the time come back around, and then I'll try and do my best to heal everything else.
I am Bronson Kalani Ali'iloa Ka'aihui. I like to be called Kalani, as my middle name that my dad gave me. I like to read as my hobby. I like to go out, hang out with friends, shop, which is odd for a boy. I look forward to college. I look forward to my life as an adult, living by myself or with a companion, a family, growing up every day, learning new things and discovering new parts of myself, emotionally as well as mentally. I like to hang out with families most of all.